Noon, good evening, good morning, or whenever you're watching this video, because I don't know when you decide to watch it here on YouTube. So, welcome back to Thrashers Paradise. I am joined once again, or, well, not once again, but the first time we were joined with Alyssa. She is from Within Nostalgia from North Bay, Ontario, of all places.
Sorry, I'm just going to turn my ringer off here. There we go.
No,
We're
no.
good.
Well, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good too. Well, the first question I do have to ask is, what's it like being a metal band in North Bay, Ontario?
It's interesting. Like, there's not too much metal here, so like there's like a few bands, a few metal bands, but I mean, obviously right now there's no live shows or anything, but when there was a lot more punk shows going on. Not as much metal happening, but I find living in North Bay, it's a little bit harder to get out there. Um, just being, you know, not where most things are. So just kind of out there, right?
Mm-hmm. Of course, but you join me here today to talk about the brand new upcoming album, the second album of Within Nostalgia, Void and Decay, which is due out on December 18th, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yeah.
Well, I guess the big question I have to ask is, last year you released your first album, and now you're already on album number 2. What's it like to be releasing your second album?
It's pretty good. Like, it's pretty close because it's been only a year since we released the last one. Um, but I've had a lot of time to sit down and write. And because starting with the pandemic in March, I was laid off from my job. So I just had a lot of time to reflect on everything and be able to write my heart out. I was writing like every day, and so that was really helpful in a sense, like to find myself and to really be able to write a lot. So that was good.
Cool. Now, there is one song out already that people can listen to on Bandcamp. It is called. I'm looking at it and I'm trying to figure out how to say it without screwing it up. Jesus. Desert. Damn it. Decider Autumn?
It's desideratum.
Desiderium.
It's a really hard word to pronounce. It took me a long time to figure it out, to be honest. I came across the word. I was googling what I wanted to kind of like what the song kind of meant to me, and then I found the word, and I was like, that makes something that is needed or wanted. So it's talking about the whole pandemic and like that um, things like that are needed to basically teach us a lesson, like as a society and as humans, and kind of depopulate. I'm not saying that, more people should die or anything. I'm just saying it's kind of like a natural occurrence that happens, right?
Mm-hmm. Of, of course. So, I guess you already kind of answered the question I was about to ask, which was what made you want to pick this song to be the first song off of the album for people to hear first?
Yeah, so that would be why, because it's just so relative to the times right now, and um, yeah, I thought it was very fitting. I mean, a lot of the songs on the album kind of relate to that in a way, but that one was more like straightforward to what everybody's kind of going through right now.
Of course. For you, what song did you find the most difficulty with when it came to either writing it or figuring it out when it came to the demoing or recording? Like, which song gave you the hardest time?
Um, the hardest time. Um, the last song that we just put out, we put out a lyric video for Beneath Unworthy Presence. Um, that song gave me a little bit of a hard time in the recording process. Um, the writing, sort of, just because there's a lot of different parts, but I found that that one had the most kind of challenging things for me. And I don't really know why, but it just kind of happened that way. But Kitty wants to talk.
Yes, the cat wants my attention, of course. This happens every time during an interview. I apologize for her.
No, that's quite all right.
But no, for you, the album's coming out on December 18th. What could fans and maybe new listeners expect from this album?
um, as a whole, compared to our previous release, um, they can expect something, a little bit more, like a little bit more in depth, like a little bit more. There's a little bit more going on. There's more kind of layering, and we're more so finding um, our sound with this album, especially because we know what we want and we know kind of where we want to go with it. So it's kind of more true to us and to our sound. So
Awesome. Now, the one thing that I can't help but notice about the album is the very unique artwork that has come along with Void and Decay. I, well, for starters, I immediately know what, uh, man, I can't word today, Jesus.
wording is hard.
It is! No, the title fits the album cover. Boom, there we go. I can word,
Yeah.
Jesus. It works very well. I think it's very unique and it stands out from a lot of other artworks we do see in today's metal culture. For you, what made you want to choose this album cover in particular, and who is the mastermind? Or yeah, who is the mastermind behind that? Yes, okay, I included all genders with that sentence. Thank God.
So we actually we kind of came up with the name first, and then we looked around online for different artwork and stuff like that, and seeing what was out there. And we just kind of happened to come across this artist, and she's an artist from Russia named Irina. I can't pronounce her last name. It starts with an M. Maru, I can't. I'm not even gonna try, but anyways, yeah, we came across her art, and it took us forever to get a hold of her because we didn't want to just take her artwork and not pay her or ask her if we could use it or anything. So we finally got a hold of her, and she was like, "Oh yeah, of course." And she didn't even ask for any money. I'm like, "Well, can I donate something at least?" So we ended up sending her some money, just like a little bit to be like, "Thank you," right? And but it's definitely very fitting to the album and the concept and everything. So
Yeah, no, I do have to say I do love how the band name is right above the black hole.
yeah.
I think that looks very fitting and looks great. It's great placement of the bland, not bland band. Jesus, Colin, I really can't word today.
Plan ban.
Yeah. Well, no, I think the artwork's great. I was listening to the album a bit earlier, and it's really good. I do have to say that it's very nice. Something you don't really hear a lot from a lot of the local bands here in Ontario. And now, for you as a musician in the metal scene, is that an advantage for you, or is that a disadvantage for you?
um, I guess a bit of both. Like it's an advantage just because like it gives me a chance to be unique, and I don't ever want to create something that's already kind of created, and I just kind of write whatever comes to my mind and it just kind of comes out. So but the disadvantage of that also is that people hear it and they don't understand it, maybe because they've never heard quite something like that, because we don't really fit into one genre. at all. We had to kind of create our own, which is the bleak metal thing. Because we're not black metal and we're not like this, we're not that. So we just kind of came up with that for ourselves and it works.
No, I think it sounds great. I love your sound. It really works, and I can say this, it doesn't sound like a lot of the other bands that I've listened to this year. So that's good because I always look to try and find bands that don't sound like other bands.
hmm
Uh, but no, being from North Bay, you do have Barrie and Sudbury. You're right in the middle of the two, I think. I don't know geography of Ontario very well, but above Toronto, so
Yeah.
forgive me. But from what I've noticed in my research, there is quite a nice little cult of metal bands between the three cities. Now, when it comes to doing shows and performing live, do you tend to go make all three, like try to do it in like a one trip kind of thing, like a weekend do, Barrie the one night, North Bay the other night, and then Sudbury the next?
Yeah, like we have done like say like a 5-day kind of like mini tour thing. So we would do like North Bay and then Sudbury and then we do Toronto and Hamilton. So I guess 4, not 5, but we've done like a little run, like something like that. But um, yeah, I've actually never been on tour before, so it's something that I would like to actually do one day. But yeah, I've done like the mini kind of tour thing, but that's about it.
Eh, a mini tour is better than no tour.
It's true. Yeah,
For
it is
you,
pretty fun.
I'm so sorry I cut you off. Please go.
That's okay. I was done.
Oh, okay. Um, for you experiencing this while performing in different cities, for you, so far in the band's young life, where for you did you feel the most difficult to kind of win over the crowd?
Like where like sorry, what do you mean?
I mean, well, as you mentioned, you did a little bit of performances in Toronto, Hamilton. You've gone out of the North Bay area. For
hmm
you, which area, like for you, what city did you find the hardest to try and make that connection with the fans outside of your home base?
Hmm, that's a good question. um, it's just kind of weird because I think it depends on like what venue you play and what bands you're playing with. Because we've had a really good show in Toronto, for example, and then we played somewhere else with different bands, a different promoter, and it turned out to be a shit show, and like nobody knew about the show going on, and there was like basically nobody there, but we played a show in Toronto where it's been like awesome, and um, there's been quite a few people, like for us anyways. So it was nice to see that. But I mean, Hamilton's always pretty good. So playing the Doors pub, anyways.
Repping the best taco joint in the city.
I love that place so much.
Well, when this is over, if I can English, Jesus, I can't. My God, I do interviews almost all the time, and yet I can't speak during that.
It's gonna be okay.
Thank you. So, will you come back if when this is all done? If the doors is because right now they're still open, they're doing good. Would you come back to the doors when this is all done?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes.
Like before all this went down and shows weren't a thing anymore, like we would try to go play a show at the Doors pub at least once a year kind of thing. So definitely looking forward to that again.
Awesome. Now, for you and for the band, what is the 5-year goal?
5 years, eh?
Yes.
5 years. Hmm. Haven't quite thought about 5 years, but we do have goals. I mean, the main goal obviously is to make more music and to get out there more. Um, I mean, I find it hard. to get more out there, just because like it's just me and my boyfriend, it's the two of us, and we're both very antisocial people. So that's the main thing that what we find hard with is just getting out there and getting people to hear the music. We do obviously a lot of promotion online, which is the main way to do it, right? Everyone's online, and but yeah, it makes it a little bit hard when you're kind of like a recluse.
For you, I know it probably wasn't an idea to like have your album be released during the year of a very hectic pandemic. So for you as an artist releasing an album this year, what's it like just going through all this, knowing that you sadly can't perform it in person?
um, it does suck, but at the same time, we don't like, because it's the two of us, it's kind of hard to like, we wouldn't really be able to play live unless we had like we hired people and got a whole band kind of going. But I mean, it's totally possible, right? um I mean, we're okay with just writing for now. We basically just write everything at home and record demos at home, and it's fun. But yeah, I do miss playing live for sure.
Second last question. Uh, a lot of bands nowadays, especially with this pandemic going on, have been doing either live stream shows or even just doing simple playthroughs of their songs on the internet just so the fans can see what they're doing. Has Within Nostalgia talked about the idea of possibly doing one of those ventures?
Yeah, that I forgot to mention that we were actually thinking about doing a live stream, and we were talking to a couple of people. Like we can't like there's not too many metal drummers. There's maybe like 2 or 3 metal drummers in North Bay. So it's kind of hard to get the drummer thing going. We just weren't able to, but we were like, that's fine. We can just do the program drums through the PA or whatever. And then like hire a bass player, and then we'd be pretty good. So we've been talking about it. So it might happen in the near future.
Awesome. I look forward to hopefully seeing one of those two. Yes, Kat. Okay, I will play the thing with you. Yeah, okay.
Oh.
She's one, so everything is important to her.
Oh my
Yes,
god.
go. See this? Go that way.
Very playful.
Yes. She wants to play at the wrong times.
Yeah. Like, not now, kidding.
Yeah, exactly. But no. One last question to ask you. It's a fun little question we do ask to all of our first-time guests who appear on the channel. It's a simple metal question we do ask. Who would win in the fight, Lemmy or God?
But that's a trick question, right? Because Lemmy is God.
Yes, yes.
Right?
Yes, you are correct.
Yes.
Yes. Alyssa, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with me and do this quick little interview. Is there anything else you'd like to say to people that are going to be watching this on YouTube?
Other than check out our band, check out Within Nostalgia on Facebook and Instagram, and we're on all that kind of stuff. And yeah, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You're very welcome, Alyssa. Damn it! Wow, I really am getting slower. Jesus, Colin. And until next time, everyone, keep on thrashing.